A man suspected in a vehicle theft and arson on September 12th near Dolores has been charged by the 22nd District Attorney's Office. Brian Powell, 28, was captured and arrested after a 5-hour manhunt lasted last week in the Rustic Ridge neighborhood after a fire destroyed a home on County Road 27. Powell has been charged with aggravated motor vehicle theft, less than $20,000, second-degree burglary, and first-degree arson. Bond has been set at $20,000, according to Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin. Deputies apprehended the man about 8 p.m. on Monday, September 12th on County Road 26, after a resident reported that a suspicious person was in the area. He is in custody and has arrest warrants. It was important to find him, Nowlin said. His last known address was in Towak. According to a sheriff's report, Powell's father reported that his son called and said he was being chased by armed gunmen. Deputies searched the area by foot and vehicle, and an aircraft was called in from San Juan County, New Mexico, to assist in the search. A truck stolen from the residence was found a half-mile away, high-centered and still running. The house that burned belonged to Thomas and Lorna Gift, who were away when the fire started. There were no injuries, and 3 dogs and a cat escaped through the dog door. The Dolores Fire Department responded to the fire about 3 p.m. after a passerby reported smoke coming from windows and the roof, said Dolores Fire Chief Mike Zion. When I pulled up, fire had spread to the roof and was coming out the walls, he said. They had a nice place and lost everything. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation was called in to assist with the fire investigation.
According to the Durango Herald, an investigation is underway after 2 Westminster police officers shot and killed a robbery suspect whom they say displayed a weapon. Police spokeswoman Sherry Spotke says officers responded to a report of a robbery Tuesday afternoon in which the victim said he found several people stealing items from his garage. One of the suspects pointed a gun at the victim and punched him in the face. The group then left in a car and on a motorcycle. Police located the motorcycle and the suspect crashed and fled on foot. Investigators say he was shot when he showed a weapon. The suspect died at the scene, and police have not found the group of people who fled in the car, a silver Chevy Malibu.
The Standing Rock pipeline incident is being recognized by a group here in Cortez. Reported by the Journal with info from AP, they write that organizers in Cortez plan a march this weekend in support of the Dakota Access Pipeline protest at the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation in North Dakota. At issue, said the organizers, is the alleged potential contamination from an oil transport pipeline planned to cross under the Missouri River. The Dakota Access Pipeline presents a threat to the water that the tribe depends on, organizer Heidi Brugger of Cortez said in a news release. I know many people in Montezuma County and neighboring areas have sent supplies and donations to the camps. Many have gone to North Dakota to lend support, too. This is just one more way that people here can show their support for the Standing Rock Sioux and for clean water everywhere, Brugger said. The Water is Life rally on Saturday is scheduled to begin at 4 p.m. at the Welcome Center parking lot near Main Street and Mildred Road, march around the intersection, and end by the flags at City Park, where guest speakers will address the crowd. On September 9th, a federal judge denied the tribe's request to stop construction of the pipeline, but the federal government quickly stepped in, stopping work on one section and asking the pipeline company to do the same on a larger 40-mile swath. The encampment has been called the largest gathering of Native Americans in a century, and the first time all 7 bands of Sioux have come together since General George Custer's 1876 expedition at the Battle of Little Bighorn. A joint task force of North Dakota and federal officials is investigating a clash between Dakota Access Pipeline protesters and private security guards earlier this month, a county sheriff announced on Tuesday. The task force also is looking into whether tribal artifacts were disturbed at the site, as the Standing Rock Sioux tribe has argued. The Morton County Sheriff's Department is heading up the probe of the September 3rd incident on private land, after which private security guards and protesters reported injuries. Tribal officials say about 30 protesters were pepper sprayed and some were bitten by dogs at the construction site near the Standing Rock Indian Reservation.
According to the Durango Herald, a 24-year-old Durango man was arrested Monday after allegedly threatening another man with a gun at the Durango Transit Center at 250 West 8th Street. Durango Police Lieutenant Ray Shoup said Samuel Holt Hostetler was arrested around 2:30 p.m. Monday after he allegedly took a .45 caliber handgun out of his backpack and racked the slide in a threatening manner toward 29-year-old Wesley Norton, also of Durango. The two have had verbal disputes in the past, Shoup said. Norton reportedly feared for his life, and he asked transit center employees to contact police. Police found a .45 caliber handgun in Holt Hostetler's backpack. The gun was seized as evidence, and Holt Hostetler was booked into the La Plata County Jail on suspicion of felony. His bond is set at $5,000, and he remained in custody Tuesday.
Budget woes are sure to hit hard in Colorado all across the state. From the Durango Herald, state lawmakers are bracing for budget cuts in the upcoming fiscal year after learning Tuesday of lackluster revenue growth. The forecast presented to the Joint Budget Committee highlighted a shortfall this fiscal year, which would impact spending as Governor John Hickenlooper prepares the fiscal year 2017-2018 budget proposal that he will unveil in November. The current $25.8 billion budget, which runs through June 2017, is between $227 and $330 million below what is needed to fund the budget and a 6.5% reserve, depending on which forecast lawmakers look at. The governor's office projected the lower deficit, while legislative staff predicted the higher shortfall. Lawmakers were surprised to learn in May that the state owed refunds to the oil and gas industry, stemming from a Colorado Supreme Court decision that found the state owed tens of millions of dollars after it incorrectly disallowed a deduction related to transportation, manufacturing, and processing costs. The obligation has contributed to the shortfall. The state's economy is growing at only a moderate pace, while the oil and gas industry continues to contract, which is also contributing to the discouraging news. General fund revenue, which is used to pay for state services, is expected to grow by about 5.7% in the upcoming budget. But it won't be enough to fund obligations, say legislative economists. The state has nearly $740 million in new obligations for the upcoming fiscal year, but it only has $582 million in expected additional dollars, explained legislative staff members. Projections are more dismal than presented to lawmakers during the June forecast. Economists also signaled that a recession could be coming. Lawmakers, however, were encouraged to learn that they budgeted properly for the fiscal year that ended in July without having to dip into reserves and ending with $9.5 million to spare. Another bit of positive news was that the governor would not have to make immediate budget cuts, which is triggered when the state falls below half its reserve.
According to the Durango Herald, the city's transit system is facing a large deficit next year, and cuts to service or increased fees may be necessary. The Durango City Council must consider tough decisions to cover a $185,000 shortfall, said Amber Blake, Transportation and Sustainability Director. She described the options that councilors will consider in the next few months before the budget is adopted in December. The city could save $265,000 by cutting service to Mercy Regional Medical Center area because it has the lowest ridership and costs the most to run. However, it is growing fast, in part because a 100-unit apartment complex just opened in Three Springs. If this route was covered only by fares, it would cost about $19 each day, which is too much to expect riders to pay, Blake said. If they had that money, they would probably take a cab, she said. Those who rely on routes across the system can't pay the full cost of the service, she said. The people that are riding don't have that money to pay the full cost, or they would probably own a car. Transit services are subsidized across the nation, she said. If the city raised fares 50 cents or $15 per month, it could collect to $26,500 more annually, she said. Increasing parking passes, meters, and tickets could also help balance the budget. Increasing parking tickets to $20 from $12 or $15, and changing how tickets are managed could raise $163,000 annually. Increasing monthly parking permits from $30 to $45 per month could raise $60,000. Increasing the parking meter fees by 25 cents per hour could raise $140,000. Durango Transit will likely face a further deficit in 2018 when the Colorado Department of Transportation changes how federal mass transit money is distributed, so Blake urged the council to think seriously about setting the stage for more change. And now here's our weather report.
These light showers and thunderstorms will continue to be widespreading as they have been so far with this system. The weather instrument station nearest my home reported an accumulation of 0.05 of an inch from yesterday through 9 o'clock this morning. Initial estimates Monday for that time ran from just under 0.7 of an inch down to nothing from the big three. Tuesday, some still said none, and some about 1/4 of an inch. Please call 677-4119 and let us know what you got and the location. Tomorrow, the promised stronger cold low front from the northwest will begin to push its way into the area. And the latest forecast information continues to say snow levels will drop to 7,500 feet in the northern part of our area. I mentioned yesterday before the weather powers that Bees said that it would not be unusual for the Dolores County area to receive snow in the higher elevations under the conditions the system arriving tomorrow will bring. Today, the forecast does include the southern parts of the state, and now snow levels should reach the 8,500-foot level here. Chances for moisture Thursday night and Friday are supposed to be much better than this earlier system. Late tomorrow evening, as the system in from the northwest arrives, the jet stream and other factors indicate that really strong winds will mark a grand entrance. Freeze warnings are now admitted as likely for Friday night, and higher valleys probably will see the garden season end. But you heard it first here on DCTV Noon News. If you can keep them covered and the covers themselves from becoming wet and then freezing, from Friday night or Friday afternoon through Saturday night at least, your tomatoes might get a little extra time. However, they say this system may get held up or pushed back over us early next week, but aren't sure. But a slow warm-up beginning Sunday is possible. The frontal boundary extending from the central and northern plains to the upper Great Lakes is stalled and will serve as focus for numerous showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Some storms may have heavy rainfall, which could lead to flash flooding. The Storm Prediction Center is forecasting a slight risk of severe thunderstorms today and tonight across portions of the Midwest. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible across the coastal southeast and southern mid-Atlantic as a stationary front and the remains of Tropical Storm Julia hang around offshore. Local heavy rains are possible today, especially across coastal portions of the southern mid-Atlantic region. Showers and storms should become more scattered Thursday and Friday as the low slowly drifts away. Precipitation will increase in coverage today across the interior west as that large upper low we've been talking about moves inland from the west coast. By late today, showers and thunderstorms should be fairly numerous from Nevada and western Utah to north to Montana. On Thursday, rain and thunderstorms will continue for those same areas. Snow levels will begin to lower as that upper low moves east. Temperatures will be 5 to 15 degrees above average through Friday from the central and southern plains to the Great Lakes and northeast. Temperatures will be dropping in the west in our area as that upper level low moves inland. By Thursday and Friday, high temperatures across the interior west are forecast to be 10 to 20 degrees below average. In our 5-day forecast, high temperatures over the next 5 days going down from the mid-70s at best today and possibly tomorrow to mid and lower 60s. Lows for tonight near 50, and even though it says 50 for tomorrow night, I doubt it'll be that high here Thursday night. But for sure, Friday and on will be lower than or way too close to freezing to be nice to your tomatoes. And chill factors will not be helpful, so any chance of extending tomato life will be work. Now back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, a judge overseeing a criminal case against a Durango mother suspected of causing a head-on crash that killed her 8-year-old daughter recused herself from the case Tuesday. La Plata County Judge Martha Minot said she is familiar with some of the circumstances and individuals involved, and therefore she felt more comfortable having the case reassigned to another judge. A court administrator will assign the case to a different judge in coming weeks. Naisha Candelaria, 32, is cited with careless driving causing death. The crash occurred at 8:23 a.m., April 18th, about 1.6 miles north of the New Mexico border on La Plata Highway, Colorado Highway 140. None of the 5 children in the minivan were wearing seatbelts, including Mia Martinez, 8, who was killed. According to police, Candelaria was driving north when she hit a patch of snow and ice and lost control of her 2005 Chevrolet Uplander. The van crossed the center line into oncoming traffic and collided head-on with a 2009 Kia Sorento, driven by Mindy Walk of Hesperus, who was injured. Candelaria's Durango defense attorney, Jason Ellie, said he anticipates approaching a plea agreement in the case. Her next court appearance is set for 9 a.m. October 18th in La Plata County.
From a Fort Lewis student in connection with the Durango Herald, the question he poses is if our links to the ancients' time are becoming endangered. He looks at age, visitation, and restoration potentially threatening ArcheoAstronomy sites in the Four Corners. Life in the Southwest offers a rare opportunity for viewing of the night sky, one that few Americans have. Quote, "We live in one of the very few places left that you can see almost as many stars as the ancient people living here and elsewhere," said Charlie Hakes, a professor in the Physics and Engineering Department at Fort Lewis College. For the ancestral Puebloans, a connection to the sky was a fundamental element of their culture. At locations across the Southwest, they built architectural features to track the movement of the sun and moon across the sky for agrarian and ceremonial purposes. Today, the integrity of these sites is threatened by age, increased visitation, and in some cases, their restoration. Jennifer Frost, interpretive ranger and astronomer at Chaco Canyon National Historical Park, said the ancestral people of the Southwest have a host of descendant tribes in the region, and a connection to the sky is woven into the fabric of their culture. This connection to the sky was thought to be originally a necessity tied to agrarian practices, which required tracking the seasons to ensure crops were planted and harvested at the correct times, which they accomplished by sun watching. Because the Earth is tilted on its axis, the sun rises and sets at different points along the horizon if viewed from the same location throughout the year. By witnessing the changes in the location of the sun as it dipped over the mesas, ancestral Puebloans could track the seasons and place markers to identify astronomical events such as equinoxes and solstices. The investigation of these ancient practices is known as ArcheoAstronomy and is one of many pieces to understanding how these ancient peoples lived and how they have influenced those after them. Monitoring the passage of seasons is something practiced across the globe by agrarian cultures, particularly the summer and winter solstices. Christy Brown, Public Information Officer for Mesa Verde, said at Mesa Verde, the Balcony House site has ArcheoAstronomy features. A window captures the rays of the rising sun during the equinoxes and casts them on a triangular-shaped stone. On the summer solstice, a single wooden beam extending from the exterior of one house points to the location where the sun rises over Mancos Mesa. But while ArcheoAstronomy is present at Mesa Verde, other sites in the region have more features, Jeff Brown said. An obvious one is Chaco Culture, the National Historical Park to the southeast. ArcheoAstronomy is all over that place. There is astronomy built into the architecture itself. The location known best for its ArcheoAstronomy connection in Chaco is Fajada Butte, which is located on the southern border of the park in New Mexico. Here there are 2 petroglyph spirals of different sizes and a series of large slabs that cause the sun rays to form dagger-like shapes that are cast either through the middle of the spirals or to either side of them on the winter and summer solstices. While Chimney Rock's connection to the lunar standstill doesn't point to agrarian practices, perhaps it points to a cultural connection with the Mayans and Incas of Central America, who also observed and celebrated this phenomenon. The exact nature or extent of this connection is still debated among archaeologists. Concerns continue regarding increased interest in these types of sites, which brings visitation and possible erosion issues, along with natural progression of weathering. With reconstruction efforts viewed as potentially undermining the historical significance of sites, there is little management agencies can do besides preserve and monitor the visitation sites and hopefully, with an open mind, keep searching for more clues to our ancient past.
According to the Durango Herald, Natalie Hampton spent most of her 7th and 8th grade school years eating lunch alone. The new girl at an all-girls private school in Los Angeles, She became the target of a clique of mean girls who excluded her from parties, called her names, and even physically assaulted her, she said. She feared telling on them, afraid of their retaliation. Once a kid who loved going to school, Natalie now dreaded it. The anxiety became so bad that she had to be hospitalized. Natalie switched schools for high school. She chose a school that, when she toured it, seemed to prioritize community. Now, a 16-year-old junior, she's happy there, with a group of close friends and extracurricular activities. But she hasn't forgotten those 2 dark years when she was bullied and isolated by her peers. And she hates the idea of other kids going through what she did. So Natalie came up with an idea that would allow students a judgment-free way to find lunch mates without the fear of being rejected. She developed an app called Sit With Us, where students can sign up as ambassadors and post that there are open seats at their lunch table. A student who doesn't have a place to sit can look at the app and find an ambassador's table and know they are invited to join it. When signing up as ambassadors, students take a pledge that they'll be kind and welcoming to whoever comes to sit with them. There is research that backs that up. In January, professors from Rutgers, Princeton, and Yale universities found that when students take a stand against bullying, and not teachers or administrators, it's more effective. They did so by testing what would happen if a random group of students started promoting anti-bullying campaigns at their schools. In the participating schools, they saw a 30% reduction in disciplinary reports. Bullying is such a serious problem among children and teens that even the White House has created an initiative to address it. One statistic shows that 1 in 4 students say they've been bullied in a given school year, and 64% of them don't report it.
There's an app for everything. So from the Cortez Mancos Dolores Journal, Todo Mundo and special guests, the Afro Beatniks, will appear in concert to benefit the Mancos Creative District at the Mancos Opera House on Saturday, October 15th. Todo Mundo, which means all the world, blends the musical flavors of Spanish, rumba, reggae, Brazilian, Balkan, and Middle Eastern styles into an irresistible groove. It was voted Best World Music Band at the 2014 San Diego Music Awards, and in 2013, Todo Mundo teamed up with Grammy Award-winning engineer Alan Sanderson to release the full-length studio album Connection, which contains masterful grooves from around the world. In February 2015, Todo Mundo entered NPR's Tiny Desk contest and was selected among 7,000 artist submissions as one of 10 alt-Latino programs utilized for podcasts. Locally, Todo Mundo performed in the summer of 2014 at KSUT's Party in the Park, with such a great response that they were invited back in 2015. The Afro Beatniks are a regional favorite, having opened for Michael Franti and Spearhead in August 2016 at Three Springs, Durango, as well as numerous other festivals and events. Proceeds from this event will benefit the Mancos Creative District. You may have noticed an uptick in the number of events happening in Mancos these days. Well, it seems to be the direct result of the creation of the Mancos Creative District, whose mission is to be a catalyst for creating a vibrant and sustainable economic hub benefiting the Mancos Valley by empowering a diverse creative community and honoring Mancos' rich cultural heritage. The Creative District was awarded official designation in June of 2016 by Colorado Creative Industries, a division of the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade. Mancos Creative District's goals are to leverage local arts, culture, and history for economic and community development. The district is sponsored by Colorado Creative Industries and the Boettcher Foundation and is supported by the local artist community and the town of Mancos. Doors open Saturday, October 15th at 6:30 p.m. with the Afro Beatniks taking the stage at 7 p.m. and headliner Todo Mundo starting about 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door and are available at brownpapertickets.com. Southwest Sound and Zuma Natural Foods. Food, beer, and wine will be sold. For more information about the concert, contact Tammy Graham at 970-759-9716 or tammygraham11@gmail.com, and you can go online to mancoscreativedistrict.com.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of September 12th through the 18th. A courtesy ride was given to a pedestrian on Highway 491. A deputy responded to a report of dogs chasing ATV riders. Officers responded to a report of a domestic situation in town and arrested a man on charges of harassment, and domestic violence. A town resident reported a mountain lion sighting in town. A division of wildlife officer was dispatched and did not locate the lion. A deputy is investigating a Rico resident's report of people entering a residence without permission. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned next week for more updates.
For today's High Country happenings. Okay, everyone, there's more fruit at the CSU Extension Orchard. The price has been lowered to just 50 cents a pound for Saturday, September 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Take U.S. Highway 491 to Road Z and turn west. Again, no pets, no ladders, no early sales. Bring your own container and pick from over 40 apple varieties. Also on September 24th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., visit the Milligan Honey Farms, aka the Bee Tree, for their annual bulk honey sale. Located at 2736 Road W.5 or W.5 in Lewis, Colorado, bring your own containers to purchase local raw honey at the amazing price of $3.15 per pound. And that's a quart jar, holds about 3 pounds roughly. Dove Creek's VFW will also be starting a new bingo night beginning Thursday, October 6th, and every Thursday thereafter there will be a 50-50 drawing and a progressive board drawing. The VFW Post 5181 is located off Highway 491 in the center of Dove Creek, where the farmers market is held Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. More details are on their Facebook page. And of course, all of the happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays of the live show and the exclusive DCTV 5-day forecast. If you have an event, you can email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us at the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get it on air.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon, Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day respectively.
And again, check us out on Facebook. We'd love for you to like us there and spread the word.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next Monday.